message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up.
Answer your phone, Wade.
Very nice, Peter Pan.
am.
But hurt my mother's bag now. I put some. I put that shit. Right there. I'm itching right now.
Are you gonna make it? Are you gonna be okay?
For sure, man. Come on, ain't no edit.
Okay.
Crazy.
Now,
DJ MRB.
They want to shoot, it's time for us to fucking shoot, cocksuckers. They want to get down and dirty, don't forget who the fuck we are, you understand me? We're the baddest motherfuckers out there. You send a message to that fucking North Korean, he's gonna be sniffing my dick and sucking my asshole. That's the focus. We're going to North Korea like a year. It's gonna be an island. It's gonna glow in the dark. You know why? Because we're Americans, cocksuckers. Who the fuck do you think you're dealing with? Stop with the gun control. They're selling more guns than ever the last 3 days. Stop with the fucking whining. Stop with the Russians on Facebook. I don't give a fuck. Worry about yourself. Keep your eyes open and get the fuck off Snapchat and fucking Twitter. Stay black.
bitch, I got a topic. Me and Jasper going coffee shopping. Those are the boys see a lot of bosses. Bitch, see a boy in the mountains crossing. Chains glossing. Probably won't know how to act. I taste just like candy. So dance with me. I taste just like candy. So dance with me. I taste just like candy. Probably won't know how to act. I taste just like candy. So dance with me. I taste just like candy. So dance with me. I taste just like candy. Probably won't know how to act. I taste just like candy.
Here we go.
Okay, hit with that cat tape. All hit with that cat tape.
There's a mountain lion that's following me. Hey, back up! Back up! I'm just gonna stay calm. Back up! I'm just gonna stay slow. If I don't make it,
By the time I got a tattoo of John Tesh on my butt. Boy, if this soap could only talk. By the time I got a tattoo of John Tesh on my butt. Boy, if this soap could only talk. By the time I got a tattoo of John Tesh on my butt. Boy, if this soap could only talk. By the time I got a tattoo of John Tesh on my butt.
Still support Tyler the Creator.
Don't talk about barely you out of jail because your stupid ass sit there so trying to impress some friend, and I'm a parent and I got bills to pay and I'm trying to bail you out of jail because you're stupid as fuck.
Yeah, mama told me not to come over there. Y'all niggas lost and you're trapped in your thoughts cause you shoot and you kill over land you ain't bought. Y'all probably gon' end up dead or in jail. Mama told me not to come over there. Y'all niggas smoking, you drink till it's dark and you think that it's smart. And I heard you said dope and you're robbing yourself, shoot your guns in the air. Mama told me not to come over there. Y'all niggas banging, you walk from a gang and you hanging, you push little niggas like me. Outside the area, nobody care. Mama told me not to come over there. Y'all with the shits, I was born with a gift and it popped on me.
Parents, when did you know you raised your child right? My 8-year-old daughter Mia had been begging us for months to adopt a scary dog from our local shelter that no one wanted. This dog, a massive German Shepherd named Rex, had been returned 4 times because he was aggressive and had attacked the previous owners. The shelter workers warned us he was probably going to be put down soon because he was considered unadoptable. Every time we drove past the shelter, Mia would press her face against the car window and say, "Mom, Rex is still waiting for us. He's not scary, he's just scared." My husband and I thought she was crazy. This dog had literally bitten multiple people, and we had a small child in the house. The shelter director even pulled us aside and said, "I've been doing this for 20 years, and I've never seen a dog with Rex's level of trauma and aggression." But Mia was relentless. She drew pictures of Rex every single day, wrote him letters that she made us promise to deliver, and even started saving her allowance to buy him toys. She would sit at our kitchen table doing homework and suddenly announce, "Rex is probably wondering why no one visits him today." When I tried to explain that some dogs are just too damaged to be family pets, Mia would shake her head and say, "Mom, what if everyone gave up on me when I had bad days?" The shelter called on a Tuesday morning to say Rex had 1 week left before they'd have to put him down. 3 different families had tried to adopt him in the past month, but he'd shown aggression toward each one within hours. The final family returned him after he growled at their 10-year-old son and destroyed their couch. Mia overheard the phone call and looked at us with tears streaming down her face, saying, "Parents, when did you know you raised your child right?" My 8-year-old daughter Mia had been begging for months. When did you know you raised your child right? My 8-year-old daughter Mia had been begging us for months to adopt a scary dog from our local shelter that no one wanted. This dog, a massive German Shepherd named Rex, had been returned 4 times because he was aggressive and had attacked the previous owner. The shelter workers warned us he was probably going to be put down soon because he was considered unadoptable. Every time we drove past the shelter, Mia would press her face against the car window and say, "Mom, Rex is still waiting for us." Rex is probably wondering why no one visits him today. When I tried to explain that some dogs are just too damaged to be family pets, Mia would shake her head and say, "Mom, what if everyone gave up on me when I had bad days?" The shelter called on a Tuesday morning to say Rex had 1 week left before they'd have to put him down. 3 different families had tried to adopt him in the past month, but he'd shown aggression toward each one within hours. The final family returned him after he growled at their 10-year-old son and destroyed their couch. Mia overheard the phone call and looked at us to adopt a scary dog from our local shelter that no one wanted. This dog... When did you realize that you raised your child right? My 8-year-old son has always had one dream. He wanted to adopt a puppy. Not just any puppy, but one that needed love the most. So for his birthday this year, my husband and I surprised him with a visit to the local animal shelter. The second we stepped inside, he was scanning every kennel like it was the most important decision of his life. Then he stopped in front of one. In the far back of the room, lying completely still, was a pit bull named Frank. Frank didn't even lift his head when we approached. He had this deep, almost defeated frown on his face that made you feel it in your chest. His eyes didn't sparkle like the other dogs. He just stared at the floor like he was waiting for...
No.
My son looked up at us and said quietly, "He's the one." We asked the shelter staff about Frank, and they warned us a massive German Shepherd named Rex had been returned 4 times because he was aggressive and had attacked his previous owners. The shelter workers warned us he was probably going to be put down soon because he was considered unadoptable. Every time we drove past the shelter, Mia would press her face against the car window and say, "Mom, Rex is still waiting for us." He's not scary, he's just scared. My husband and I thought she was crazy. This dog had literally bitten multiple people, and we had a small child in the house. The shelter director even pulled us aside and said, "I've been doing this for 20 years, and I've never seen a dog with Rex's level of trauma and aggression." But Mia was relentless. She drew pictures of Rex every single day, wrote him letters that she made us promise to deliver, and even started saving her allowance to buy him toys. She would sit at our kitchen table doing homework and suddenly announce, "Rex is probably wondering why no one visits him today." When I tried to explain that some dogs are just too damaged to be family... You do have some kind of plan for the final round, don't you?
not letting you leave. I'm moving the way the main character in Squid Games was moving in season 3 episode. Where you at, boy? I'm not letting
Bark. I can't. Karen got me kicked off my flight, so I got her on the no-fly list. I paid extra for my seat. Exit row, aisle, more legroom, right over the wing. I'd been sick all week and still wore a COVID mask just to be safe. Then she showed up. Blonde blob, floral luggage, fake polite tone, the Karen type. She tapped my shoulder and said, "Hey, my friend's sitting back in row 31 and she gets anxious during flights. Would you mind switching with her?" I looked up. Middle seat, no legroom, no chance. I said, "Sorry, I paid extra for this one." She nodded with a smile that she hated me without knowing me. I thought that was the end, but Karens never leave it there. 10 minutes later, right before takeoff, she stands up and starts waving down the flight attendant. Says she's scared. Says that I won't remove his mask and she's scared. Says I was acting erratic, mumbling, maybe violent. Then she throws in the kicker. She saw something metallic in my bag. Said it might be a weapon. Suddenly the flight attendant is nervous. People are looking as she's shouting. Someone hits the call button. And before I can say a word, airport security boards the plane and tells me to get up. I get pinned to the ground and cuffed, dragged out like a criminal. Backpack dumped on the tarmac. As I'm dragged off the plane, the Karen smiles from my seat. Her friend waddles forward like a penguin and drops in beside her in my seat. And that was it. I get interrogated, released, but the airline bans me for the safety of other passengers. I missed the opportunity of a lifetime, you see. I was on the flight to go to an interview that took me years to get. Now they spread the word that I can't even make it to the interview. I end up on the news for 2 days. See, what she didn't know is my uncle used to work TSA for 22 years. He told me everything I needed to know about watch lists, about behavioral reports, about how it only takes a few tips from the right sources to make someone a pattern risk. So I made her a risk. First, I found her name. Easy. Her luggage tag was in a TikTok clip someone took of the meltdown. I froze the frame, zoomed, cross-referenced her with the boarding list. Her name was literally Karen. The irony is insane. Miami to Charlotte, frequent flyer, Instagram full of selfies at airports. Then came the tips, one per week, filed under different aliases. Said she made comments about hating TSA. Said she joked about sneaking liquids through. Said she bragged about always getting through security with extras. Then came the final push. On the weekend of her sister's destination wedding, I filed a tip directly to TSA Threat Division. Said she mentioned smuggling something in her makeup bag. They flagged her, searched her, found nothing. Karen got me kicked off my flight, so I got her on the no-fly list. I paid extra for my seat. Exit row, aisle, more legroom, right over the wing. I'd been sick all week and still wore a COVID mask just to be safe. Then she showed up. Most insane. Blonde blob, floral luggage, fake polite tone, the Karen type. She tapped my shoulder and said, "Hey."
What's the worst first date you've ever? Worst thing that happened when you swapped phones? What's the dumbest? Parents, what's the? Karen got me calm people. Karen got me kicked off my flight, so I got her on the no-fly list. I was flying home for my sister's wedding after months of not seeing my family. First, I found Karen's full name from the video someone posted. Entry was revoked pending review. Then her TSA pre-check was suspended. And finally, certain medications. Claims that she'd once said his full name from the video someone posted. Her bag tag was visible for a few frames. Cross-referenced it with the flight manifest someone had posted in a forum thread. There she was. Karen Miller, frequent flyer, Florida resident. Then came the reports. One every 2 weeks, filed anonymously. Claims that she regularly joked about sneaking liquids through TSA. Claims that she had bragged about slipping through security screenings without disclosing certain medications. Claims that she'd once said she knew people who could bypass airport protocols. All fabricated? Yes. Believable? Very. After 6 months of building a pattern, I filed one final tip directly to TSA and CBP. Passenger may attempt to bring prohibited items on board via personal cosmetic bags. 2 weeks later, Karen was stopped at security for a random enhanced screening. Nothing was found, but her global entry was revoked pending review. Then her TSA pre-check was suspended. And finally, her next flight booking was flat out denied. She tried again with a different airline. Same result. Eventually, she received formal notification. She'd been added to the selectee watch list pending further investigation. Now Karen posts weekly rants online about how she's being unfairly targeted, how she's a victim of government overreach. But she doesn't know the truth. She played a petty, malicious game and cost me my family's most important day. So I played a patient, calculated one and then cost her the skies. Karen got me kicked off my flight, so I got her on the no-fly list. I was flying home for my sister's wedding after months of not seeing my family. I booked my ticket months in advance and even paid extra for priority boarding and a window seat so I could actually enjoy the flight. As I was settling in, headphones on, I noticed her. Targeted, how she's a victim of government overreach. But she doesn't know the truth. She played a petty, malicious game and cost me my family's most important tradition.
Karen got me kicked off my flight, so I got her on the no.
Where is the egg? We've been traveling forever. Where is the egg? We've been traveling forever. Where is the egg? We've been traveling forever.
kind of food y'all know?
Let's see here. Well, Jacob.
This me?
And you must be Shane McDaddy.
Fuck, I forgot I did that.
How'd you get that?
Just walking around telling everybody I was you and that I was violently addicted to child porn.
Do you think you can beat that? Also, I'm not addicted to child porn.
Shane, whenever you read the radio ad, I need you to read it loud. Shouting a lot. Oh, definitely. I'll definitely do that. I can see you making that face. What face? The I'm not gonna do what Phil just asked me to do face. You can see it? Yeah. Come on. Where's my sweet little boy? Don't fucking do that. Where's my sweet little shouty boy? Alright. I'll do it. Shane?
Shane. Shane. No. Not you.
Dave, stay off our side.
I'm sorry. Pussy and leather? What's cooler?
What the fuck's going on in here, dude? That looks like he's jacking off a kid. Catholic priest simulator. Tossing kids around.
No, it's a pit crew simulator.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense.
Y'all know.
Let's see here. Well, Jacob.
This me?
And you must be Shane McDaddy.
Fuck, I forgot I did that.
How'd you get that?
Just walking around telling everybody I was you and that I was violently addicted to child porn.
Do you think you can beat that? Also, I'm not.
I have one of them. Anemia, I think it is. Though it should have one more.
Damn, I messed up. We gotta go ball, bro. Damn, I messed up. We gotta go ball, bro. Damn, I messed up. We gotta go ball, bro. Damn, I messed up. We gotta go ball, bro. Damn, I messed up. We gotta go ball, bro. Damn, I messed up. We gotta go ball, bro. Damn, I messed up. We gotta go ball, bro. Damn, I messed up. We gotta go ball, bro. Damn, I messed up. We gotta go ball, bro.
The guy behind me in traffic was blinding me with his high beams, so I violated his retinas with the full force of an afternoon sun. I was driving home from work and traffic was backed up pretty badly for a few miles. It was stop and go. When I get stuck in that, I'll usually back about 75 feet off the car in front of me so that I can hold a pace and move at a slow but constant roll, like the semi-trucks do. This way I'm not participating in the bumper-to-bumper move and brake like the rest of the smooth brain drivers. Some dude in an Acura crossover was behind me, and I guess he was getting upset because I wasn't 2 feet from the car in front of me, driving like a smooth brain. So he gets up on my butt and starts beeping his horn at me. Lol, I think to myself as I turn up my radio. But then he starts flashing his brights at me, which is where I get annoyed. He's in one of those Acuras that has the super bright LED headlights. My car is much lower than his, so his low beams are already pretty bright in my mirrors. Bright enough that I don't want to look in them. The first time he flashed his high beams, it put spots in my vision for a moment. It genuinely hurt my eyes. After the first flash, he waits for about 10 seconds, beeps his horn, and then flashes me again. Now I'm getting pissed. I'm thinking, where the f do you want me to go? Do you really think being 2 feet from the car in front of you will make traffic move faster? Then he flashes me a third time, but this time he held them on for about 15 seconds. Time for the gloves to come off. During those 15 seconds, as I'm looking away from my mirrors, I see my 14,000 lumen searchlight sitting in my passenger seat, at which point I'm immediately overcome by a wave of chaotic lawful excitement. What he has just set in motion cannot be stopped. I think to myself, oh buddy, you just opened the wrong can of worms. You're gonna learn today. I grab the flashlight and set it to its absolute max 14,000 lumen brightness setting. The flashlight has a sensor in it to automatically dim. The guy behind me in traffic was blinding me with his high beams, so I violated his retinas with the full force of an afternoon.
Make sure you connect to his side and get rinsed thoroughly. Wrong. Cleaning your shower is about as much fun as getting a root canal. It's no wonder my son Jake here survived 4 full years of college without ever cleaning his shower once. Wrong. He even had a really stinky pet that he never paid.
Using a bucket today, Joey, was like setting up a water bomb in the bathroom. There's got to be a better way.
The struggle is real, but have no fear.
more buckets, no more backaches.
Sharks, you're about to witness rinsing reinvented. You whip out your rinseroo, slip it over any water source, and bam, you're ready to conquer any rinsing challenge that comes your way.
And the best news, rinseroos work on water sources all around your house. Sinks, shower heads, and tub faucets.
This one even has a spray head. Just make sure your connection is tight and get rinserooing.
Wrong.
There are so many things you can do with a rinseroo.
Rinse dirty boots. Bathe the baby. But wait, there's more.
Use it as a bidet.
Don't forget to give Grandpa his sponge bath.
So if you also want your dog to stop running away every time the bath day, Rinseroo is the answer. Easy, fast.
Lollipop always has been and always will be my favorite snack of the summer. They're turning 70, so what better way to kick off the summer?
You do have some kind of plan to find the line.
Living in a single room with 3 other individuals. One of them was a male, and the other 2, the other 2 were females. Not only knows what they were,
She said, I don't bring you around my friends because you don't fit my aesthetic. So I stopped trying. 2 weeks later, she showed up at my apartment crying after her friend sent her my photo on a date with someone they all follow online. Just a quick thanks. Over 14% of you are already subscribed, and it means the world. If you're new here and enjoy these stories, join the family by hitting that subscribe button. We're on the road to 10,000. I, 36M, am typing this while Rachel, 31F, is blowing up my phone from the parking lot downstairs. She's been sitting in her car for an hour now after I wouldn't let her in. Wow, how fast things change. 3 weeks ago, Thursday night, I was at Rachel's apartment waiting for her to get ready for some gallery opening her friend Madison was hosting. We'd been together 8 months. Everything seemed decent enough. I'm wearing my best button-down and dark jeans, nothing fancy but clean and appropriate. Rachel comes out of her bedroom in this flowing designer dress, looks me up and down with an expression I've never seen before. Kind of disgusted. Actually, Tyler, she says, I think I'm going to meet you there later instead. Me, confused. What? Why? I'm ready to go. Rachel sighed like I was being difficult. Look, I don't know how to say this nicely. You don't really fit my aesthetic. My friends are all very image conscious, and you're just, you know. I stared at her. And what exactly? You're a contractor, Tyler. You drive a pickup truck. You wear work boots. Madison's crowd is all influencers and creative types. It's nothing personal, but you look out of place. The words hit different than a slap would have, clean, precise, surgical. My response was equally clean, understood. That was it. No argument, no pleading, no asking her to reconsider, just acceptance of the information. Yeah! explanation she'd provided about how she actually saw me. I grabbed my keys and left. Drove straight home to my house that I own outright, thanks to those work boots she mentioned. Spent the weekend thinking. Rachel had never hidden her social media obsession, the photos, the brand partnerships, the influencer friends. I'd helped with her content, even paid for most of our dinners at places she could post about. Apparently, I was good enough to fund the lifestyle but not good enough to be seen living it. Monday morning, I made a decision. If I don't fit her aesthetic, then I won't try to anymore. No more paying for trendy restaurants where she could get content. No more being her unpaid photographer. No more funding her lifestyle while being treated like an embarrassment. I didn't break up with her. Didn't make a big speech. Just stopped initiating contact. Stopped offering to pay for things. Stopped being available when she needed something. Tuesday, she texted asking if I wanted to grab dinner. I replied I was busy with work. Wednesday, she asked about weekend plans. Busy again. By Friday, she was calling, "Tyler, what's going on? You're being weird." Just focusing on work, Rachel. You know, contractor stuff. She didn't like the tone but couldn't figure out why. We'd been together 8 months, but she'd never actually paid attention to who I was beyond what I could provide. Weekend came and went. No contact from me. Rachel posted stories from some rooftop bar with Madison and the aesthetic crowd, living her best life without the contractor dragging down her image. Perfect. Update 1, 2 weeks later. Thanks for the comments on the original post. Been an interesting couple of weeks since I stopped trying to fit Rachel's aesthetic. Rachel's confusion turned into irritation pretty quick. She's used to being the center of attention, especially mine. When I stopped orbiting around her social calendar, she noticed. Last Monday, she showed up at my house around 7 p.m. I was in my garage working on a kitchen island for a client, covered in sawdust, very off-brand for her aesthetic. "Tyler, we need to talk," she announced, staying in the doorway. "About what?" I kept working, didn't look up. "You're being distant. Are you mad about something?" "No. Just busy with work. You understand." She shifted uncomfortably. "We haven't spent real time together in 2 weeks. I miss you." "You miss what exactly, Rachel?" Wrong question. Apparently, she couldn't answer it. We both knew what she missed, the free dinners, the reliable ride to events, the guy who made her feel secure while she chased Instagram validation. "I miss us," she finally said, which meant nothing. "Well, if you want to grab coffee sometime, let me know. Fair warning though, I'll probably be wearing work clothes." She left frustrated. I went back to my project. That Friday, Madison was throwing another event, some pop-up thing downtown. Rachel texted asking if I wanted to go. I declined, said I had other plans. My plans were drinks with my buddy Jake at a sports bar, wings, beer, game on TV. Jake's been telling me for months that Rachel was using me. Maybe he had a point. While we're watching the game, Jake gets a notification on his phone. He glances at it and grins. "Dude, check this out." He shows me Instagram. It's Madison's story from her event. Rachel's front and center with some guy in an expensive suit. Perfect hair, designer everything. Looks like he's never worked with his hands. The caption says something about beautiful people. Jake's watching my reaction. "You good?" "Yeah, I'm good." She found someone who fits. Honestly, I felt relieved. The pretending was over. But here's where it gets interesting. Sunday, I'm at the hardware store when I run into Sarah, a woman from high school. She's an interior designer now, recently divorced. We end up talking in the parking lot for a while. She mentioned she's seen my work online. I post finished projects sometimes. She's impressed. Asks about my process, my business. When I mention I own my shop and house outright, she nods approvingly instead of looking embarrassed. We exchange numbers. She seems genuinely interested in what I do instead of ashamed of it. Update 2. Things have gotten interesting since that last update. The contrast between Rachel and Sarah couldn't be clearer. Sarah and I started hanging out regularly. She came by the shop a few times, asked real questions about my work, took notes about potential projects. She wears practical clothes, doesn't mind getting dusty, actually wants to understand what I do. 3 weeks ago, we went to dinner at that same trendy place Rachel used to drag me to, the one where she'd spend more time photographing food than eating it. Sarah and I actually talked, laughed, enjoyed ourselves. I posted one photo, just us at the table, both smiling. Nothing fancy, just genuine. Tagged the restaurant, captioned good food, better company. That photo got way more engagement than usual. Sarah's friends commenting, people asking about my work. You can click on share and more to see if there is a part 2. She said, "I don't bring you around my friends because you don't fit my aesthetic." So I stopped trying. 2 weeks later, she showed up at my apartment crying after her final update. She said, "I don't bring you around my friends because you don't fit my aesthetic." So I stopped trying. 2 weeks later, she showed up at my apartment crying after her friend sent her my photo on a date with someone they all follow online. Part 2. Real connections happening. 2 days later, my phone started buzzing. First, Madison. "Hey Tyler, hope you're well. I've been thinking about some custom pieces for my place." Same Madison who thought I was too blue-collar for her gallery 3 weeks earlier. Suddenly, the contractor was worth talking to. I replied professionally but wasn't jumping at the chance. Thanks for thinking of me, Madison. I'm pretty booked but can add you to my list. Then Rachel started texting. Can we talk? I think there's been some confusion about things. Confusion, right? I confused her clear statement that I didn't fit her aesthetic. I didn't respond immediately. Wednesday, she called and left a voicemail. Tyler, I saw your post with that girl. Look, maybe I wasn't clear about the gallery thing. I was stressed about work and said some things wrong. Can we please talk? Still couldn't own what she'd actually said. Thursday evening, I'm at Sarah's helping move some furniture when my doorbell camera alerts me. Rachel's on my porch with takeout from my favorite Thai place. Ex-girlfriend? Sarah asks, looking at my phone. Yeah, trying the food approach now. Sarah laughs. Classic move. You answering? No. Rachel waited about 10 minutes, then left the food and drove away. I got it later, good pad thai shouldn't go to waste. Friday, she escalated. Showed up at my shop during the day while I was meeting with Mrs. Chen about a dining table. Tyler, we need to talk, she announced, completely ignoring my client. I'm with a customer right now. Rachel, I'm not leaving until we sort this out. Mrs. Chen looked uncomfortable. This was affecting my business. Rachel, you need to leave now. Fine, but we're not done. After she left, Mrs. Chen looked concerned, but we finished our consultation. Professional damage contained, but the message was clear. Rachel was escalating. Saturday night, Sarah and I went to a wine bar. Nice place, relaxed atmosphere. We're having a great time when Sarah shows me her phone. Look at this, she says, laughing. It's a screenshot from Emma, Sarah's friend who knows Madison's crowd. Madison had posted asking if anyone knew the girl Tyler's dating now. Literal social media investigation. Sarah's amused. Your ex's friend is researching me online. Little sister asked me to be her maid of honor. Final update. She said, I don't bring you around my friends because you don't fit my aesthetic. Then numbers I didn't recognize. I ignored them all. Sarah asks, looking at my phone. Yeah, trying to food approach now. Sarah laughs. Classic move. You answering? No. Rachel waited about 10 minutes, then left the food and drove away. I got it later. Good pad thai shouldn't go to waste. Friday, she escalated. Showed up at my shop during the day while I was meeting with Mrs. Chen at a dining table. Tyler, we need to talk, she announced, completely ignoring my client. I'm with a customer right now. Rachel, I'm not leaving until we sort this out. Mrs. Chen looked uncomfortable. This was affecting my business. Rachel, you need to leave now. Fine, but we're not done. After she left, Mrs. Chen looked concerned, but we finished our consultation. Professional damage contained, but the message was clear. Rachel was escalating. Saturday night, Sarah and I went to a wine bar. Nice place, relaxed atmosphere. We're having a great time when Sarah shows me her phone. Look at this, she says, laughing. It's a screenshot from Emma, Sarah's friend who knows Madison's crowd. Madison had posted asking if anyone knew the girl Tyler's dating now. Literal social media investigation. Sarah's amused. Your ex's friend is researching me online. That's wild. Welcome to the aesthetic police. Everything has to be cataloged and approved. We took another photo that night, posted it with, good wine, great company. Simple but honest. Sunday, my phone was buzzing constantly. Rachel's number, then numbers I didn't recognize. I ignored them all. Final update, the breaking point. It's been 3 months since Rachel told me I didn't fit her aesthetic. Today, she finally got the conversation she'd been demanding, but not how she wanted it. Yesterday, Sarah forwarded me something from Emma. Turns out several people in Madison's circle know Sarah, successful interior designer, owns her business, well respected locally. Suddenly, I wasn't just the contractor anymore. I was the guy dating the talented designer, Sarah. My phone started ringing again. Rachel's number repeatedly. This morning, she was sitting in my driveway when I got back from breakfast with Sarah, just waiting there like some kind of stalker. I parked and headed for my door, ignoring her completely. That's when she got out. Tyler, please, just talk to me for 5 minutes. I stopped and turned around. She looked rough, hair messy, makeup smudged, wearing plain jeans instead of her usual carefully planned outfit. What do you want, Rachel? I want to explain about that night. About what I said. I was completely wrong. You were honest. Big difference. She stepped closer. No, I was being awful and shallow. I was worried about impressing Madison's friends and I said something terrible. You're successful. You're talented. You built your own business. I was stupid. Interesting timing on recognizing my success. What changed? I asked. I realized what I lost. Seeing you with that designer, seeing how happy you look. She appreciates what you do. I took that for granted. You realized I was with someone your friends actually respect. I corrected. If Sarah worked retail, would you be here? Direct hit. Rachel's face went red. That's not fair, isn't it? Madison was asking around about me the second she found out who Sarah was. Suddenly the contractor became interesting. Rachel was quiet. Then the waterworks started. I miss you, Tyler. I miss what we had. It was real. What we had was you using me to fund a lifestyle you were embarrassed to include me in. I paid for dinner so you could post about restaurants. I helped with your content while being too blue-collar to appear in it. That's not how it was. That's exactly how it was. You said I don't fit your aesthetic. You were right. I was wrong. No, Rachel, you were completely right. I don't fit your aesthetic. Your aesthetic is fake, shallow, and all about appearances. You're absolutely correct that I don't fit that. Full crying now. Please don't throw this away. We can fix this. There's nothing to fix. You need to find someone who values the same things you do. Someone who cares more about looking successful than being successful. That's not me. Tyler, please. We're done, Rachel. Go home. I went inside and locked the door. Watched her sit in her car for another hour before finally leaving. 3 hours later, Sarah texted me. Emma says, Madison is posting about men who hold grudges and toxic masculinity. Thought you'd find that amusing? I did find it amusing. Somehow, me not accepting being treated like an embarrassment made me the toxic one. The story ends exactly where it should. Rachel's still hunting for someone who fits her image-obsessed world. Madison's still curating her life like a museum exhibit. The whole aesthetic crowd is probably analyzing this situation for content. Meanwhile, Sarah and I are planning a weekend trip to check out some furniture markets upstate. She wants to learn restoration techniques, and I want to spend time with someone who sees my work as something to be proud of instead of hidden. There was no elaborate revenge. Just refusing to accept being treated as less than I'm worth. Just walking away when someone showed me exactly how little they valued me. Rachel wanted someone who fit her aesthetic. She can keep looking because I stopped trying to squeeze into her shallow world and found someone who appreciates the real one I built. She said, I don't fit her aesthetic. She was absolutely right, and that's the best compliment she ever gave. Final update. She said, I don't bring you around my friends because you don't fit my aesthetic. So little sister asked me to be her maid of honor, while secretly sleeping with my husband. So I showed up at her wedding with a gift. I don't...
What do you do for warm-up, brother?
Well, first thing I do is, I kind of do my side to side. I give it a,
What do you do for warm-up?
Holy shit! Everything is brown.
Stand up now and face the sun. Won't have my tail turn and run. It's time to do what might be done.
Get out! My father roared, his finger trembling as he pointed it at me. Paying bills doesn't make you family! I froze, the ornate carving knife still in my hand, poised above the perfectly roasted turkey I had spent hours preparing. The words hit me like a physical blow, echoing through my carefully decorated apartment. My mother, seated at the table with her cheap store-bought pie still in front of her, didn't even look surprised. She merely pressed her lips together in that familiar expression of disapproval I'd known my entire life. My younger brother Jason shifted uncomfortably in his seat, eyes fixed on his plate, while his girlfriend Megan looked on in horror, her face a mask of secondhand embarrassment and genuine shock. The apartment that had smelled of sage, time, and possibility just moments ago now felt suffocating, the air heavy with decades of resentment finally boiling over. For 3 years, I had been silently paying my parents.
HOA sold my land while I was deployed, so I had the military repossess their entire subdivision. The taxi stopped just short of the gravel driveway I hadn't seen in over 11 months. I stepped out in uniform, boots still caked in dust from Afghanistan, ready to surprise my mom with an early return and sleep in my own bed for the first time in nearly a year. But instead of my white cottage with the blue shutters and porch swing, I saw a dog park, a literal fenced-in dog park where my living room used to be. 3 golden retrievers were chasing a frisbee across what had once been my front yard, and some lady in yoga pants gave me a side-eye before scolding her poodle for sniffing my duffel bag. I thought I was at the wrong address until I saw it, the tree I carved my name into before I deployed. Still standing, still scarred, still in my yard, except my yard had been stolen. The HOA sign read Willow Ridge Community Park, sponsored by the Homeowners Association. Below it, a plaque with a quote said, dedicated to peaceful living and communal joy. I stood there frozen, heart pounding louder than incoming shell fire. When I asked a passing couple what happened to the house, the man casually shrugged and said some government guy hadn't paid his taxes and the HOA repurposed the land. They walked off sipping smoothies, oblivious to the fact that I was the so-called government guy. Inside my chest, something snapped, not rage, not even sadness, just disbelief wrapped in exhaustion. I dodged bullets, led recon patrols, and rescued injured civilians from burning villages, but back home, the enemy wore designer sunglasses and ran neighborhood committees. I spent the next few hours bouncing between city offices like a pinball machine. The property records were a joke. According to the system, I had lost my land 6 months ago due to tax delinquency, except I had filed for military tax exemption before I left. The clerk looked confused and told me to talk to the HOA. That's when I first heard her name, Karen Mallister, president of Willow Ridge. Apparently, she was very passionate about keeping the neighborhood tidy and compliant. I found her in the community clubhouse holding court like a tyrant with a wine glass. The walls were decorated with self-awarded certificates and a blown-up portrait of herself titled Founding Mother. She was in the middle of scolding a teenager for hanging fairy lights on a backyard fence when I walked in. She didn't look up until I cleared my throat. I introduced myself and told her I used to own the property at 1428 Maple Trail. She blinked like I had insulted her interior design. Then came the smirk, the infamous Karen smirk. She flipped through a file and said, "Oh yes, that lot had gone unclaimed, delinquent, and had been transferred to the HOA per subdivision protocol." When I explained that I was on active duty and had a federal exemption, she cut me off mid-sentence and said, and I quote, "Maybe you should have thought of that before joining the army and abandoning your responsibilities." There was a silence so thick you could have heard her ego inflate. I reminded her that federal law protected deployed service members from losing property due to non-payment of taxes. She responded by offering me a different lot at the rear of the neighborhood by the dumpster area. "We can work something out, soldier," she said as if she was doing me a favor. That night I didn't sleep. I drove to a motel on the edge of town, sat on the edge of the bed, and stared at the wall for hours. My body was home, but my soul was still deployed. Not overseas, no, this war was on my soil, and it was far dirtier than anything I saw in combat. The next morning, I contacted Luis Ortega, an old friend who now worked in cyber investigations with a federal agency. He owed me a favor from back when I pulled him out of a burning convoy. I told him what happened, and within hours, he was digging into public databases. What he found was a spider web of forged signatures, retroactive board meeting notes, and land sales involving shell companies linked to Karen's cousin. The HOA had created a fake paper trail that looked legitimate on the surface but collapsed under scrutiny. Luis found emails between board members talking about how easy it was to flip that soldier's dirt and how they planned to make the neighborhood military-free and HOA pure. He sent me a screenshot of Karen joking that I'd probably never come back, and if I did, I'd just salute and walk away. The rage I'd buried for so long started rising like a storm. I thought about going to court, but legal battles could drag for years, and Karen had layers of protection. No, I needed something faster, something louder, something poetic. I remembered a conversation I had with Colonel Trent during my last deployment. He'd said if I ever needed anything back home, I could call him directly. I didn't think I'd ever cash that in, but this felt different. This wasn't just a property dispute, it was a betrayal of a soldier by the very people he protected. When I called, I told him everything. He didn't laugh, he didn't hesitate. He just said, "Send me the GPS coordinates and a list of structures involved." Then he added, "You want this quiet or dramatic?" I replied with every ounce of dignity I had left, "Dramatic." The plan was born right there. I didn't want an apology, I didn't want compensation. I wanted the HOA to feel publicly and permanently what it was like to have their lives bulldozed overnight, just like they did to me. And in 3 weeks, they were about to learn exactly what that felt like. The next morning began with a quiet intensity. While most of Willow Ridge watered their rose bushes and filed petty complaints about grass height, I was already neck deep in blueprints, drone images, and zoning maps. Luis had spent all night scraping databases and had built a case file so thick it could serve as a doorstop. He printed out ownership records showing how the HOA had filed for adverse possession by falsely claiming the property was abandoned. The truth was obvious now. They had waited for me to leave, then
Monday.
think I saw a shield operator on cams, but I don't think he knows where I am right now, so we should be safe here.
I placed my traps. Nobody ever looks down. Why do they never look down? It's hilarious.
We got her, boys. Here she is. Let's go.
No, stop calling me. You're no longer president.
Come on, let's go. You're coming with me. We're taking you to Guadalajara. Guantanamo Bay. Come on, let's go. You're coming to Guantanamo Bay. Come on, let's go. Let's go. We're taking you to Guantanamo. We got her, boys. Here she is. Let's go.
No, stop calling me. You're no longer president.
Come on, let's go. You're coming with me. We're taking you to Guadalajara.
Alright, so Danny back. 20 miles, 10 cigarettes, 6 beers, 2 grand slams. Alright, so Danny back. 20 miles, 10 cigarettes, 6 beers, 2 grand slams. In, 4 cigarettes, 3 beers. Oceanside on the beach, too. Alright, so Danny Dash. 20 miles, 10 cigarettes, 6 beers, 2 grand slams. In, 4 cigarettes, 3 beers. Oceanside on the beach, too. Alright, so Danny Dash. 20 miles, 10 cigarettes, 6 beers, 2 grand slams. In, 4 cigarettes, 3 beers. Oceanside on the beach, Alright, so Danny Dash. 20 miles, 10 cigarettes, 6 beers, 2 grand slams.